Like this to me, this proves that Vegas was fake, because 13 months later, 50 of the same people are shot at again. And what's more, concurrent with the second shooting, there was a drill going on at the same time, which is usually a fast. Whenever you find out there's a school shooting, first thing you do is, were they doing drills the week before or the day of? Parkland. Well, in this case, there was a drill for a Vegas style shooting going on during the Thousand Oaks borderline bar and grill shooting with an identical number of victims. So you can find newspaper articles about it, and they say it was an eerie coincidence. Well, that's just one eerie coincidence among hundreds with this particular series of events. Oh, look at this guy in the chat. He says, I went to, listen to this, this is how you know. These people will lie to defend the matrix of lies reflexively. He says, I went to high school with a guy who got shot and killed at Pulse. Like, I guarantee that he couldn't type the name because he would have to make it up. The Pulse nightclub had 300 people inside, but only 7 cars outside. So you talked about magic bullets. Well, what about magic LGBT clown cars where 400 people fit in a car? I mean, how do you explain that? An empty parking lot in a packed nightclub? No way.
I would I would say nobody dies at these events ever. I think the Vegas thing, there might have been some actual gunfire. Some people might have died. Some people might have died coincidentally that night also and got thrown into the tag. I would say I don't want to overstate and say nobody ever dies.
Well, wait. There's a good point here that you're bringing up, though. The reason why I say nobody is that how many people died while they were making the movie Braveheart with Mel Gibson? Like, how many people lost their heads? How many people got shot with arrows? There had to have just at least one, right? Maybe just an accident. Maybe somebody fell off a horse. There had to have at least been a death, right?
Split coming off the plank or whatever.
So my point being, we're not looking at an actual military operation. We're not looking at an actual false flag. We're actually looking at a psyop. We're looking at a movie. It's theatrical. Nobody would die because these cheap $2,000 crisis actors would blow the whistle. They would say, hey, I'm not being part of a war crime. If one person dies, it becomes a snuff film. It becomes a conspiracy. It becomes a war crime. And it becomes a major deal. However, if it's merely a psyop and nobody dies, nobody has blood on their hands. And I think they even recruit people who are copacetic with the goals. Like, if you're a fascist and you want to take away guns, maybe you could find it easy as an actor to portray yourself as a victim on TV. But you certainly wouldn't stand by and let somebody get their head blown off to score some political points. So no, I don't think there's any murders concurrent with psyops. I think it would contradict the whole thing.
I have a good friend that knows somebody that died in Vegas on the Vegas harvest thing.
See, the thing is, everybody knows somebody who has a friend who knows somebody who died at this or that event. And I'm saying, if there was one crisis actor, it was all crisis actors. There's no middle ground. There's not a false flag happening, as Alex Jones would tell you.
There could be a middle ground. There could be some people actually died that night for whatever reason. They got thrown into the category of being shot. That's all I'm saying.
You know what? I heard Mark Sargent make that argument. I've heard people say, well, maybe some people knew too much. They had to kill some people. And I'm just telling you, if one person dies around a bunch of drama actors, and one person literally dies, they're all complicit in murder. So now you're talking about people doing real life Squid Games type stuff, where I'm saying, no, the burden of proof is on you to prove that any bullets were actually fired. And that hasn't even been proven yet. So if you're going to assert somebody died, you're on the side of the mainstream media on this one, because the only evidence we have is some really crappy MP3 they played through the speakers. There was no evidence of actual gunfire at Vegas that night, despite what they tell you on the news.
Oh, I've gone through 6 Ways to Sunday, but I bring that up because, you know, that's a real person, 2 real people, and it's not just someone that knew somebody, you know. I got a name and all that. It's the same thing with the Kobe crash. Do you think Kobe really died in a helicopter crash, or that helicopter actually crashed?
You know, okay, a couple things about that. One, there's
not to totally change the subject, but
this is
the same. It's the same psyop, if you will, right?
Okay, with the Kobe thing, witnesses, but one of the first things that stood out to me was it was reported by TMZ. And I used to do decedent transport here part time. So like I was on call with the beeper and I had a van. So the OMI, Office of the Medical Investigator, would call me or beat me when I would have to go down to wherever somebody crashed or suicided or somebody got shot, and I'd take the body over to the morgue.
Right.
Now there's a process where first there's the death, then there's the police show up, and the media show up, but next of kin have to be notified. And the idea that TMZ would look at a burning pile of wreckage and then report the names of the deceased, that would never happen. It was just totally out of the order of operations, and there's no way they could have known who was in it or who was dead. There's just no way, not from that distance. And so I just think that the story was actually pushed by TMZ first, and I notice a lot of these psyops that involve celebrities don't play out like regular crime scenes or accident scenes. So I just thought, it doesn't make sense. There's no way anybody even identified a body to actually make a headline story about it right that time. At that time, it was staged. Then he's buried in Corona Del Mar. I mean, there are so many examples of Kobe Bryant dying in helicopters in predictive programming, in commercials, in a cartoon, Legends of Chamberlain Heights. I mean, the idea that he actually died is contradicted by all of the predictive programming. And do you know who the last person to interview Kobe Bryant alive was? Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson, George Floyd's
exactly.
twin. What are the odds?
Any passed the mantle to LeBron, if you will, on his social media that evening.
Wait, this is interesting. We have two people in D Live that are connected to these events. What are the odds? And they're listening to Infinite Plane Radio. One guy in the chat here says he knows somebody whose cousin's MMA teacher was on that helicopter trying to hitch a ride and died that day, not fake. So
the funny thing is the same guy was telling you about.
That's ridiculous.
Went to the Kobe Academy, knew one of the parents, and they supposedly.
You see how people lie, folks? You see how people lie?
Reporters dead and they're missing.
So you're one person removed. You're one person removed from two major league psyops, like actual victims. Vegas and the Kobe thing. I
want to stop it right here, folks, just for a second. I hope y'all enjoying this. Do you see how people lie? People lie to protect lies, to justify their own reality, to justify their own sanity. This is what I found out about human beings just recently. I've been on this planet 40-something years, and I just, found out completely 100% that people lie to protect lies, to protect their own reality, and to protect their own sanity. This is why people cannot be trusted, folks. This is why people cannot be trusted. This is why I go isolated. I go in isolate mode. I didn't see enough out of people. Let's move on.
You're basically one hearsay away from it. That's like one person could tell you something, and then you would have your confirmation.
Well, they could be duped also. I'm not saying that they couldn't be, but I'm just trying to play the looking for the truth here.
Well, looking for the truth starts with correctly establishing who owns the burden of proof on an extraordinary claim. And the extraordinary claim put forth by the media is that this shooting happened the way as presented. And I've seen enough with the whole Vegas thing to know that it's completely contrived. I went out there to where it was.
The official story is a joke. They got all the shots off. Written all that. That part we're not.
But for some weird reason, a lot of truthers have a hard time letting go of all the death. Like you're like, nobody died at Boston. Nobody had their legs blown off. And they're like, no, don't take that away from me. It's like, look, you're going to have to let it go. They're psyoping you. There were no victims. And I'm sorry if it bothers you that these people didn't die horrible deaths, but they're still alive and they got paid.
You see that? It's people lie. It's almost like people, they want to believe a lie. They would rather people die. What do you call that, folks? How do you justify liars who protect lies. This is why I don't believe everybody's human. Now, clearly, the guy on this phone chat is some kind of gatekeeper, or he's glowing. He's something. And you watching it how Infinite Plane Radio is smoothing this over and using his words very carefully. This is the best podcast on YouTube. Period. This guy is actually suing YouTube for somebody trying to impersonate him. A situation where they tried to attack his channel, but they end up doing something that they went over the line, and now he's suing YouTube. Lawsuit has been in, I think it's been going on ongoing for the past 3 or 4 or 5 years, something like that. But you see, people lie to protect lies. This is why I don't believe everybody's everybody. Not everybody's your brother. Some people are out here protecting the matrix, folks. A lot of women are protecting the matrix, folks. You know what I'm saying? I was there in Vegas. I picked up 2 crisis actors that I found out was crisis actors later on. These I picked up these twins that both had army shirts on that day, and I find it strange that they both had army shirts on that day. I got a phone call after the shooting went down. The girls were screaming. They was trying to play the psyop on me. They was trying to figure out, did they want me part of the psyop, or did they want me, outside the psyop? And I got a phone call, some girls screaming, come pick us up. I was like, huh, and then the phone hung up. I was about 2 miles where I lived from where the psyop went down. Let's move on.
Right. They want to believe that there's actually the covert operations going on and that they're being foiled once in a while. Sometimes they're being kicked off. But in reality, it's all a stage. Except for, like I'm saying, the rare cases where somebody dies during the stage.
Okay, so it looks like Lonely Chef and Chap might have been there at Pulse during the shooting. Oh no, he's not claiming that. Okay, here's the thing. He says he lived in he says I lived in Orlando, so it wasn't fake. So if you lived near a psyop, it's gonna feel realer to you. It's just this weird phenomenon I've noticed. Like, it had to be real. I was there. You weren't there. And you know what? There are all kinds of
I
liars.
used to live right down the street from where Kobe crashes. That doesn't mean I believe it's real. But I'm also trying to bring you every bit of information that I have on it.
Sure. Well, the predictive programming to me would suggest that if it was real, then that ought to change your life because you saw some hardcore synchronicities that should blow your mind. Like, it should humble you to look at that cartoon where Kobe crashes and that commercial where a helicopter blows up with him in it. It should humble you to say, wow, look at all these coincidences, like God was showing us in advance. Because you can't just ignore these things.
Well,
But the Occam's razor approach would be, what's more likely? That we saw some miraculous premonitions or predictions just occurring in the media, or that this is all a psyop. And I'm on team, it's all fake if 10% of it's fake for the most part.
I agree with that statement for the most part. COVID and Kobe means God's door to back up what you just said, by the way. And we all know where Satan's holy door is. Not a surprise. Sodom's derived, Sodom to burn as in lust, to tribe and generate. Genesis 13:13 and Romans 1:27.
Interesting.
So yes, that was the spectacle of the burning of the Kobe, of God's door. There was definitely 3 predictive programs with him. There was the cartoon and the animation where he dies. They say, hey, pass the ball. And they say, hey,
Let me run this by you too. So his last interview alive with Steven Jackson, the twin, again, Steven Jackson,
Yeah.
42, twin of George Floyd. At the end of the interview, they did a Masonic grip, not a handshake. It was specifically a Masonic grip. So you see the symbolism, the predictive programming, all the hallmarks of it being a psyop. So that removes all the doubt to me that this thing was a real thing. But it gets deeper because his 42nd birthday was celebrated posthumously by the NBA, and this was in August of 2020, Kenosha Week. They called it Mamba Week. So for Mamba Week, they're celebrating Kobe's 42. So he's 42 now, like his twin, like George Floyd's twin. Steven Jackson. So I see this 42. Well, at that same time, the MLB was honoring Mr. 42, Jackie Robinson. So the MLB had nothing but 42s. NBA celebrating this guy's 42. Then Chadwick Boseman dies at 42 and he played the Black Panther. And so I was noticing that Kobe Bryant's birthday week was playing into all of the same psyops and overlapping with the same characters to the point where, yeah, I was pretty convinced there. We're looking at his death was staged, and it was sort of a. I kind of think that his death, that date, kind of marked when the COVID thing ramped up over here. And again, he was buried in Corona Del Mar.
Well, absolutely. I look at it as the Kobe sacrifice, if you will, um, as the kickoff for Corona, right? So, as you say, laid to rest in Corona Del Mar. It means God's story, aka Babylon, right? This is definitely from the occult. CV equals 322. We just had 322. This is the Brotherhood of Death. So doing for Genesis.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop it right there. Now he's just kind of ruffling his feathers because he feels stupid that he wanted somebody to be dead. He wants to protect the Matrix lies, to protect his own reality, to protect his own uh, uh, sanity, to protect his own simulation. You see, this person is not on 5D, folks. This person is still stuck in the Matrix. You see what I'm saying? And this is like they told you in the Matrix movie. Everybody in the Matrix you are to assume that they are your enemy, no matter who they are, no matter how much they know or what facts they are spitting. You get it? Got it? Good. I'm out, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Peace.